Come away with me as we hike New Mexico's Gila Wilderness from Snow Lake. We'll take Trail 142 down the middle fork of the Gila River.
Here we go. We are in a Subaru Forester, which is somewhat high clearance, but this is the way I came in, so this is the way I'm going out. Here we go.
Snow Lake is a reservoir, and the trek begins by hiking up and over the dam. As soon as we get up and over, the view is already impressive.
Just over a mile into the hike, and it's time for the first river crossing. Time to get the feet wet. Inaugural baptism of the hiking shoes. There they are. And here we go. I'm going to try not to slip and fall. And these rocks are pretty darn slippery. Got my Lone Peaks on. Alright, made it across unscathed. And now it's time to find the trail. Well, I have to give credit to the firefighters that defended this river valley. I expected this to be totally burned off, and perhaps sections ahead will be, but I'm only about 1.5 miles into the hike from Snow Lake, and right here it's pretty dang pristine. So thank you, firefighters. That fall color up there is pretty dang nice. There's the middle fork down there. And these canyon walls ain't too shabby either. They almost look like they've been cut and terraced by humans. But that's not the case. That's all natural. I'm in an area where there's some nice oak trees here. There's the little fork down below. You can see the oak trees. There's must be, I'm not sure what that is over there, but it's turning yellow and losing its leaves. But pretty darn good fall color today. Those look like mostly oaks up on the side of the canyon over there. Just came across some wild growing squash, it looks like. And I'm here in this kind of open plain area, and I'm guessing the Indians use this area for farming, for cultivation, and raised corn, beans, and squash, the three sisters. So this is a beautiful spot on a rainy morning to come across some squash.
There are several shallow caves along the route, formed by the river eroding the canyon wall as it bends around a corner.
Well, there's no signs of any buildings up there, any dwellings of any kind. My guess is at one point that was a cliff dwelling. It looks just, or maybe a granary or something like that. What a beautiful little spot. It's a pity the sun isn't out. This is a little oak grove right next to a little cascade on the river here. And the path takes kind of a high route here for a while, up above the stream bed. But looks like the oaks here are pretty healthy. There's a good crop of young trees. Well, doesn't that look inviting? It's pouring rain, I'm cold, and it's lunchtime. I think I'm gonna head over to that overhang / cave and get dry and have a little lunch.
This is a delightful section of the trail. It is dry, with no river crossings for a while and reasonably level. Walking through the ponderosas on a layer of pine needles is a joy for the feet, legs, and spirit. This was one of the rare moments on this hike where it was sunny and dry with blue skies, nary a cloud in sight. The temperature was ideal for hiking, in the 60s, and the smell of fall was in the air. From time to time, the canyon walls were visible through the trees, and they impress no matter how many times I see them. If you are looking for solitude, this area of the Gila is a great place to find it. In 4 days of hiking, I encountered only one other human being. That is very different than the lower sections near the cliff dwellings and warm springs, where there are always crowds of people. It is remote enough that I recommend bringing a personal locator beacon. I use an inReach and send a message to my wife every night to let her know I'm okay. If an injury were to occur out here, it could be many days before someone comes along and finds you, and there's no guarantee that they'll have a way to signal for help. See my video on hiking solo safely for a checklist on keeping yourself safe.
Mentally preparing myself for about my 5th or 6th crossing this morning. The crossing starts right here, and then it looks like it goes up the bank directly across over there. Very important on these crossings to know where your out point is before you enter the water, so you know which direction you need to go. You can see this is the water level is quite high this morning, and it's really running pretty good. So this one's going to be interesting. I would have liked to have filmed myself doing some of these crossings, but unfortunately, that means crossing 3 times instead of once. In these kind of conditions, that's more than I care to do, more than I think is safe. So anyway, here we go. Okay, I made it. On the other side, it really wasn't too bad. The current was really strong, but it was only about knee deep. The crossings this morning that have been really tough are where the channel is narrow and the water is deeper, when it's about crotch deep or so, mid-thigh, crotch deep. That's when it starts to get pretty chilly when you get out. So anyway, another about the 5th or 6th crossing this morning. I'm losing track already, and it's only 10 o'clock. So it's that kind of hike. You're gonna get wet. You can see some of the effects of the fire here. Big pileup of dead trees that were taken out by the wildfire. They've just accumulated at this bend in the small tributary of, or side stream of the main river. This is not the main part of the Gila. This is just a small area where it splits off from the main one. But you can see these are fairly freshly downed burned trees.
There are informal campsites about every 5 miles or so along the trail. They are most often to be found where another trail intersects the middle fork. Someone even left a pail at this one to scoop water and put out the campfire. There is almost no signage, blazes, or cairns to mark the trail. Where side canyons intersect, it is easy to get confused and take the wrong fork, so I highly recommend bringing a GPS so you know exactly where you are.
Pretty little spot. I'm getting fairly close to the headwaters here, and you can see there's pretty good flow. It looks a little turbid, so they must be releasing a little extra water from the reservoir. But nice fall color. Got some aspens along here. We got some oaks that are turning a nice color. So after about 36 hours of steady rain, we finally have a beautiful, beautiful morning here in the Gila wilderness.
Following a rainy period like this, the water can be quite turbid. There is enough wildlife in the area that I'd recommend purifying your drinking water. I use chlorine dioxide so I don't have any filters to clog. The Gila is ideal for hammock campers, and I count myself as one of those. The ponderosa pines are sturdy, but they have large enough diameters that you should bring long tree straps.
Well, it was sunny up until about an hour or so ago. I decided not to head back a day early to let the gravel roads dry out and the streams dry out a little bit, and it was a beautiful day. Sun was shining, and here we are an hour later, and we're back in the rain again. So I hope this is not another all-night rain like it was the other night, but you never know here in New Mexico.
It can get chilly at altitude in the Gila, and in the morning of my last day it dipped to around the freezing point, and I had ice on my tarp.
Thursday morning, sun just came up over the canyon wall, and look at those rocks, just steaming in the morning sun.
Thanks for watching. If this video was useful, please leave a comment or subscribe below.
Beautiful morning here in the Gila. It's time to say goodbye and head back home.